Welcome to the Word. We're going to get into building a book from scratch. And something to note right off, we are using version D1.9.7a for this video. We might upgrade that throughout this video series. We're going to attempt to break it down into different sections. Today we're going to begin by entering into the regex rules and some specialized things. And note, if you watch any of the Bible videos, one of the main differences between this one and the Bible videos is your goal is to bring the format into an HTML-like format upon import. So one of the big things about this is we're not focusing on the line count like in the Bible, etc. And the Bible's for the Word. We are focusing on HTML, and there's a few things that we have. Your friend is help, and there are many things. We going into new special open, there are special open, and for those that have used that in past can look into that, but we're moving away from that and moving into new special open. You'll want to go in there, and there's a lot of things. First off, you start off by going to special order, open order of power. So first off, when you build a book, understand this. If there are rules that are used, and we've enabled it so you don't have to use rules, I don't recommend that. The rules are important, they're powerful, they help make the steps repeatable. And that's honestly what the word is about. It's to be a repeatable system. There's a lot of things in there. Find and replace try to be repeatable. The find and detect pairs are trying to be repeatable. Things like that, because our goal is to remake these books at times. Sometimes you go in and you're like, oh, I need to make a correction, and you go in there. Okay, so the rules, verse detection, if you turn it on, optional. This attempts to place links on verse reference throughout the text. And then lastly, the HTML importer. So it works with HTML tags, a lot of the latest ones. The new special open works with CSS, if you understand. And if you're going to do this importing, dig into what CSS is. And then also, that's usually a separate file for the styles of fonts, etc. And then it works with probably around version 5, I believe, of HTML at this point. Next thing, these are some important things. Your file order needs to be in one, like boom, boom, boom. In the order, you're going to see it in basically when you make the book. If you have, let's say you go A, B, C, D, but you put A, C, B, D, then things are going to be out of order. You need to sometimes prepend, as it says here, 1, 2, 3, etc. I'm going to show you the book we're going to be working on in this special scratch import. It's called Martyr's Mirror. It would look like this in print. If you have the print version, it looks roughly like this. Martyr's Mirror. It's let's see, in print, it is 1,158 pages at the last page count. There's another page after that. But that book is basically like Fox's Book of Martyr, but this one goes from AD, the time of Christ, to 1660 AD. And it is a huge book. Very good. I believe it was originally published in German. I believe the title was called Bloody Theater at that point. So one of the things that a good format is XHTML, HTML. You can use about any text format, but you need to bring it into an HTML format. So EPUB is actually, if you unzip an EPUB, it comes out looking something like this. You got some different folders. If you go into OBPS, you'll have, so this one has the images here. Then you have all these different files for this book. Notice this one was already prepended, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's all nicely ordered for us. They're not always that way. You have to kind of think through that. You'll see there's even one called wrap down here. Let's look at that. Just click. Oh, this is that would be the title page. So we need to go in here, or the cover page. Let's not go into that. And we need to put this at the start of our list. It needs to be basically 0. So we're going to go in here to rename. We're going to go 0 dash. And it's okay here, the images we won't look at later, but go into there, and there you go. You have all those files now in the proper order. Okay, so next, let's go ahead and just try this out. We're going to just leave our nice little help guide off here over the side. Going to come back to this. let's go to File, Open, Book Editor. For now, we're not going to add any regex rules. We're just going to try loading it. Go to New Special Open, and you'll see here. Ignore the JPEG. We're not going to do that. And you want to actually load them in the order that you're going to do it. So I'm holding down Control. I'm going to do just 4 files for now. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so they load pretty fast because we don't have any regex rule applied. And it even says that here in the information list. Starting, loading, not loaded. The regex rule is not loaded. Okay, that's fine for now. And we'll just turn this back off. If you want to get it again, go to Show Info. And you can see it's brought in the book. You have some table of content. Now, honestly, since we are going to have, basically, if you remember, we build the table of content. It's in the topic tree off to the side. So you really don't need that table of content, and I would actually recommend taking it out later on. For now, we'll just leave it as is. We have some different items in here. Okay, let's go and continue on. Go back into Help. Back into New Special Open. Okay. Now, CSS file. Calm out at rules with so you'll see some ways to calm out them. Apparently, that should be good now. This has been fixed, I believe. And then you'll want to add these following at the start of the CSS file. These kind of take over and bring it into our standard formatting. Just a few like that here. Hit Control C. Now, before we get too far, we need to know what is the file that is actually used. Is it this CSS file or is it this CSS file? Let's look here. This one, we'll open this, and one of the editors I like to use is EditPad Pro. It works quite nicely. I'll just show you, give it over here, and we'll see here. Go down through image source style. It's using pgepub.css. Okay, let's try another one. We're just learning about this file, and believe me, this can be unique on every one because each one has its different. So go in here, the CSS. Okay, we have in here. This has a link to both of these CSS. We might need to add a little bit of information to that. So to both of those. So we're going to go in here. We're going to open up our CSS file. Going to do that one, and we're going to do this one. Okay. Now remember, we want to copy this over here. So Control C, you can select it and then press Control C. And you want to go to the very top of the CSS file and add these in. Now, these are, I would probably just even add a little note if you wanted in here. To the word CSS. And you go like that, just like that. And you go down here to the bottom of it and go and to the word CSS. Okay, and then go over to this one and go again in here, Control C, go into your page here. You can ignore the add. I believe that's been fixed now. I'm going to pull a little data over from this file. Okay, and then go under here and hit there, and then we'll paste this up here. So these kind of take our master rules in the CSS file. You can adjust these as needed, but this is a standardization that we aim for. Make sure to save those. One of the things I didn't tell you to do, which I would highly recommend, is always make a copy beforehand. So now I need to go back in and edit out my changes real quick. It's better to do this beforehand. Yeah, hey, you know, you learn as you go. Because you never know if something might break. Now, you do not need to make a copy of the HTML files because we're not actually changing the HTML files. We are simply using them as is. And I'm just going to take this out, like I said. Go in here. There we go. Okay, so that's all saved. Okay. Now, we're going to see, did we get any changes? So, you'll look at the font. let's scroll down here. We'll select the font, and it's Tahoma 12. So let's try that out. Our goal is to bring this into the format that is the word standard. So note what has happened now. Several things have happened in here. So we look in here, we click on the text, we got Segui UI 10. That Tahoma is also possible, but you want it to be a 10 point. If you do that. Also, this table has been made into our standard. It has now gray lines, but also 100% width. You can look in here on table properties, and it'll be in the 100% width. That's another word standard. You can get into some of these standards right in here. In the book edit, let's see, here we got the word book font format standards. And we aim in the word to make these basically automatically for us. There are several things that happen. Notice this white background. We do not want that white background. There was a white background right in here on the transcriber's notes. If you looked at it originally, we do not want that in there. So we took that off. Go back in here. Oops. Let's see. Word format standards. Where did I hide my help? Okay, it's not there. I might have moved him off screen. I did. I minimized him. Okay, sometimes that happens. So go into help again and go back in here. We have different ones. Greek is Gentium Logos, or Gentium 12 point. Maroon. Hebrew is 14 point maroon. These are standards in the word, and we aim to keep at those. You can actually see some of them if you look in here. We have the Gentium. 16px is 12 point. And then this 18.67px is also 14 point. Now we're not using these yet, but that would be our goal later on. If we have Hebrew, we would use that. Tables, we did the borders, things like that, 100%. Images should be on their own line. Those are things that are actually aimed to in the program. If you want to go images on their own line, there's a very special section right here, pictures only paragraph. And we turn it to 100 point, less than 100, ignore basically. Anything bigger gets its own line. So these are some special features into the word, so you don't have to stress and worry about them, but you can come up with a good quality format. Okay, so in here, this is so far is basically the beginning. Let's look in further into this book. Let's go into new special open. I'm just going to load down, let's go chapter the verse 3, invocation. Nope, not yet. It does have a note down here. Okay, continuing on, let's try another one. Let's go, we did 3, I believe, last time, so let's do 5. And we're just trying to get down into the content of the book. Introduction, summary of the following work. And let's go again a little bit deeper. We're looking through mentally and looking for section headings and some things like that. An account of the pious martyrs. And so this one has books. Looks like most of them are on their own paragraph. Images. You did different things. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a footnote. We might have to adjust that footnote out. We might not even be able to use new special open for some of these footnotes. That can get tricky. Okay, so let's go in now. Time to begin. Let's go into the regex editor. We're going to just build a simple ignore for now regex. And we're going to save this. Save as. I'm going to go in here, and I'm just going to call it Martyr. Here. You can name it how you like. Okay, so here's my regex for this book. Okay, now let's start off. We got our CSS more or less done. Let's close this, close this. Now we dig in because we need to extract some of our section headings and things like that. We're going to stop here at this video. That's kind of an introductory video, you know, formats, things like that, items like that. You got a little bit about the book editor. Before we go any further though, yeah, you can't know on that. Remember, help, help, help. Go in here, new special open. Do it again and again and again as you need. And if you minimize it like I do, and get into it. We'll get into some of these other items, special tags, etc. Okay, on our next one, we'll kind of work down through here probably and see what we can get and look at. The other thing is, let me think here. Oh yes, under help, you have your regex help, you have your formatting. Use book module specification. This is the Word format, and it goes through, it's been updated through the years and things. You look at it, reread it, check it out. It'll get you some of the internals to help you understand what's going on inside the Word. There's a lot of SQL-Lite commands that are being used, and things are being built, and yeah, there's a lot going on into the Word to make this possible. So we're going to stop there on this video, and next time we'll continue on in building a book from scratch.